is now actually what senior week was supposed to be. So that right there shifts how senior week, shifts everything that was scheduled for senior week. Now, also senior week itself, it's pretty clear was not going to happen as it was planned. Additionally, the following 2 weeks were scheduled to be senior shadowing, when our seniors went out into the community, into the city to really do internships and shadow people. It's pretty clear right now that number one, I don't think we would feel comfortable sending students out. And it's probably unlikely that many businesses, if they're even back, would be interested in bringing people into their business. So what we're working on, and I've already touched base with Lisa Barr, who's one of the people organizing Senior Week. I've touched base with Lori Beecher and Doug Cruikshank, who help coordinate senior shadowing. And again, today when I met with senior class leadership and Mrs. Agarabi, we're going to be looking to take the last week in May and the first week in June and really create sort of a combination senior week, senior shadowing for students. And I will be sending something out to all parents to ask you to consider hosting a session with seniors, possibly about your field, maybe specifically about the work that you do, even about how this pandemic is shifting the work that you do and the expectations you might have in terms of skills that individuals would present to you as applicants. We'd also potentially maybe be running a resume writing workshop, cover letter writing workshop, interviewing workshops. We're also planning to do alumni panels with students who've graduated about the transition to college. We're going to look to create a menu of options for our seniors to choose from so that they can find meaningful sessions during those 2 weeks that would, again, I haven't finalized this, but they'd need to log, similar to shadowing, a certain number of hours and reflect on it. So again, excuse me, when I was sharing with the seniors some of these ideas, they actually got pretty excited. I think they were afraid it was all going to get canceled. I reassured them that's not going to happen. We're going to do our best to shift and create meaningful experiences in the midst of this. And in talking to the parents who help organize it, we actually feel like this could open up some opportunities. So in the past, we've had some unbelievable shadowing experiences, but they were limited to say 2 students or 1 student. Now, if that parent hosts a Zoom session, we could have 30 students attend that. And really, you know, that wasn't possible before. So we're trying to look at it as an opportunity. And we even discussed how some of senior shadowing may shift as a result of this to be some of these types of sessions. A few other things that are going to probably need to shift, and I'm just going to take a little bit of water. I literally never talk this much. I'm so sorry. Is the awards ceremony that's scheduled. As Dr. Montesano said, we don't know if we'll be closed for the year, but if by some chance we are open, the last thing I will be doing is gathering the high school together in one location for 2 hours to breathe the same air. So we will be reimagining the awards ceremonies regardless. We're going to have to think creatively, and I will, of course, update everyone. We'll probably do something virtually if we're not in school, but we would like to recognize the students who have done great work inside the building in our community. Although I will admit to you that some of these awards just won't be possible this year based on how they function with community groups, the state awards, and the national awards. Prom is scheduled for the end of May. That has not been officially canceled yet. But again, gathering, say 400 individuals in one space for 4 hours, even if we are back in school, it's not necessarily a great idea. So that is something I do not expect will happen and will not be rescheduled. As far as baccalaureate, our performing arts department is experimenting with doing some virtual ensembles. And the hope is for baccalaureate, as we are able to perfect that, and I was talking to the students today about this, that we would actually be able to put together a program that is pre-recorded, but then host a viewing at the time of baccalaureate so everyone could experience it together. So again, trying to reimagine baccalaureate if we're not in the building. And then finally, just graduation. You know, of course, we want to have graduation on June 20th. If we are not able to, I did say to the seniors that we'll do everything we can to find a time to have graduation. I think there's a few things going for us. Number one, we host graduation outside on our property. There are principals whose schools host graduation at the county center, which is like the last place you would want to put people right now. So I think, even if it's available. So I think we have a bit more opportunity to rethink that. And if and when we find out how long we will be closed, a number of people, I will involve obviously the graduation committee, our senior student leaders, to think about how best to make that a meaningful event for as many people as possible. It is possible we would need to limit somewhat the attendance, just to limit the, to actually make sure people are able to sit far enough apart. But again, we'll have to wait and see on that. As I said, I hope tomorrow to share a presentation, just a slideshow that will contain a lot of information about the many, many ways clubs and grade levels and all sorts, even classes, are connecting to the community and connecting within the school with each other, so that students who need to find a way to connect will see all of those opportunities. We have run a number of sessions, and again, we're always open to what you feel you need that we could offer. But we did run a time management session that the counselors put together that was shared via YouTube link. Tom Viviano, our school psychologist, ran a session around helping children cope, for parents, about helping children cope with the current situation. Anna Baccalaureate will speak a bit more in a moment about a session that the counselors are going to be running for parents of juniors later this week. Of course, we have our junior workshops all spring that our counselors host and have continued to host. And they're going to be running additional sessions, I believe, on Friday, but she's going to speak about that, because we understand that juniors are in a uniquely stressful position at this time, given that SATs and ACTs have been canceled up to this point. AP exams are different than what has been expected, and even the college process is really potentially shifting. So we're doing our best to try to get you information we feel like would be helpful. At the end of this meeting, I'm happy to take questions. Please don't ever hesitate to send me an email. And again, if there's something that we could be offering to a larger group of people, you know, we will try to make that happen. So thanks, Darcy. I think that's it from me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anne. That was quite a lot, but all very informative, and all, you know, it's an unprecedented time. So I guess, you know, we're all wading through it together as we, you know, have faced these changes and try to make things as smooth as possible. There are little hiccups, but, you know, we get through them. Is Ms. Abaticola on the line? I have a bunch of pages. I don't see. Oh, there she is. Hi, Anne. There you go. So Ms. Abaticola is going to chat about, you know, everybody and counseling. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see so many people are in attendance this evening. First, as Ann Meyer mentioned, the counselors and our psychologists have been working to support our families as best we can. The two programs that we hosted, the one on time management and on dealing with the issues of the day, we hope would be helpful, are helpful to those of you who can view them. We are working very diligently to support everyone. First, I'll start with our seniors. So we have some seniors who are now in the process of trying to make the final decision about which college will get the deposit. And May 1st is the deadline for most colleges. Some have extended their deadline a little later, but as it turns out, probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the schools still are expecting a deposit to that one college that students plan to attend. And in order to assist students in deciding, practically all of the colleges, I would say all of the colleges, are offering virtual options for that decision making, either actual programs to welcome accepted students or detailed tours of various departments and so forth. And then we do have a few seniors who are anticipating making a deposit to a school, but hoping that they will come off a wait list. And we are trying to help support them establish their final communication with the colleges by indicating their willingness to attend if accepted, and identifying now how they would benefit the campus as they move on. We're very sensitive to all of the end of the year activities that either will not be held or will be held in a different fashion. So we want to encourage our seniors in that regard to really look towards planning those, and we are so happy to be able to participate in any activities that are planned for the seniors. Also, this is the second year that we have developed a senior survey. Last year, we surveyed the class of 2019 with a survey through the LifeTrack services that was sponsored by the Bronxville Foundation. And we found the results of the survey to be quite helpful. So we are going to conduct a senior survey with our class of 2020, hopefully at the end of next week. So I'll be sending out the detailed information to all the seniors with a link to our senior survey, and encourage them all to respond, to give us some feedback about their experience at Bronxville in all areas, academic, social, extracurricular, and so forth, and to give us some ideas of what was really positive about their experience here and where they feel we could improve. So we're looking forward to that. And now our juniors. Our juniors really need our assistance, and we have been continuing with our junior workshops, business as usual, so to speak. As many of you know, our department philosophy is geared towards planning. Control all of the aspects of the post-high school phase that you can control, and that way, before you know it, you will have accomplished forming your college list, completing your resume, working on your essay, and being ready to complete that application that will come live around August 1st. So we do continue with our workshops. We've been corresponding in the workshop groups and individually with our juniors to that end, to commend them for working along with us, for making those lists, for completing their resume, and so forth, for being really diligent about the aspects of post-high school planning that they should be working on. The counselors, we've prepared a program that is entitled What We Know. So we'd like to share with parents and students everything we know about the current state of the post-high school application process. In short, we've heard so much from the colleges. The colleges really are trying to be sensitive to the issues that our juniors are facing. Their inability to visit schools, their inability to take the SAT or ACT test right now, and the transcript that students will produce this year, which will be very different from the transcripts that they have seen in the past, with straight grades, no variations in pass, fail, and so forth. So we've compiled some statements from the colleges and listing of the schools that have gone test optional now, and who understand that students might not be able to take that ACT another time if they took it once, or if they were planning to take it in the late spring, they're unable to take it, and really, as we move on to senior year, might be unable to do that last testing. So they're really sensitive to that, and the college's statements are around the idea that they are looking at the whole student, and they want to see where the students have been before this year and what they have accomplished and what their goals are. So it's really going to be important this year for the students to really think about how they present themselves in their application and express their feelings at this year as they are moving forward. So it's not going to be so much what clubs have you participated in, how have you done with that, but how have you used your time creatively during this year, and how have you responded to the demands that you're facing. So I sent an email out this morning to the junior parents. The parent program is Thursday afternoon at 3:30, and then we'll be doing the junior programs in the junior workshops beginning on Friday, which is a day one, at the time in the schedule when students would be attending the junior workshop. The one lunchtime meeting will take place before the school day, probably at 11 o'clock. So we'll be sending that out tomorrow to all of our juniors. Our 10th graders, we don't want to neglect our 10th graders. We're going to be working with them probably the first week in May on a little interest inventory. So this is a time in 10th grade when students are encouraged to start thinking about what they like to do, what their favorite subjects are, how they can project using those to sort of plan to look towards post-high school. So we introduced them to Naviance program, which the juniors and seniors use, and then we encourage them to do a little research on their own as they go forward, either at the end of this year or in the summertime, and to take advantage of opportunities to research various interests, various professions perhaps, and then to make a plan to get further information, to look towards shadowing a neighbor or a parent in a particular profession, for example. So they're just thinking about it. This is in the formative phase. With the 9th grade, we just concluded our family meetings. So we were very pleased that we were able to conduct our family meetings for grades 9, 10, and 11. And in the event that the counselors missed anyone for a family meeting and course planning, we please invite you to contact the counselor, and we will make a Zoom meeting as soon as possible. We are also working on the 8th grade course planning, so we'll be contacting the 8th grade families within a week or so. Let's see, what else? I just want to reinforce the statement that Ann Meyer made as well, that we are here for you, we are here for our students and our families, and we hope that you will contact us either by email or ask us to host a Zoom meeting with you as a family or individuals, and because we really want to support you as best we can throughout this time. And that's about it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate you, everything you guys are doing for the kids with a senior and a freshman. I know both ends of the spectrum of high school, and it's an interesting semester to say the least. Ms. Meyer, is Ms. Peterson on, or someone from athletics to chat about section 1 update?
Ms. Peterson is on. She's going to go ahead.
There she is. Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Well, thanks. Great to see so many of you. Certainly miss being with you and being with your kids, but we've made contact with a lot of the student athletes through the last couple weeks on a regular basis, either through their teams or through our athletic council. I'll just give you a very brief update about the section in the state association. We really don't know what's going to happen with the season, and we're waiting for direction from the governor. But I will tell you that both the state association and the section are working diligently to have plans in place if we are able to come back and prepare some sort of a season for our student athletes. So we have plans in place. We just don't know if and when we can do them, but we are working diligently and want to make sure that we're prepared for the kids. This has been a difficult time. I'm always very proud of our student athletes. I think I'm more proud of them now. They're resilient. They're dealing with a lot of loss at this point and hope. And they're a great group to work with. That's the best part of my day, is having meetings with them online. And we are preparing Virtual Spirit Week, which will start next week. Emails will be going out to students and to parents, so we'll keep you guys in the loop. But Monday's going to be virtual Bronco Apparel Day. So students, high school students will be asked to take a picture of themselves in their Bronco apparel, load it up to a Google Classroom website, and that will start our battle of the classes. So that'll be our first go at a virtual spirit week. So that starts Monday. We are going to have a TikTok contest. More will be coming out about that. Some of our students are attending the high school faculty meeting to get faculty involved tomorrow. So that's been a different and fun learning experience for them as they prepare for that. We are also involving teams in other ways. So we always do a Meet the Athlete Day with grades 3 during Spirit Week. And we were trying to figure out how to make that happen. And Anthony Baglica and Matt Fisher from Basque have gotten together and figured out that we could probably do it through the elementary Basque program. So we have a group of 10 athletes who are preparing a presentation, and there'll be invitations for Zoom meetings for the elementary in grades 3 to 5 to come on to 2 different nights to talk with our athletes and listen to them about their experience as Broncos and what that means to them, and time management and sportsmanship. So that's been an important program, and it's one that we're not going to lose, and our kids are preparing for that as well. We also have some teams that are working with Basque on doing some trivia contests with the elementary kids. So our student athletes are doing their fitness at home as well. So we're trying to stay busy, we're trying to stay connected, and we're trying to stay prepared if the season should come around. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to coaches, to me. I'm available by email, happy to have a phone call with anyone. I have asked the coaches to make sure that they stay in touch with me about any students who they feel may be disconnected from their teams or seem to not be coming to their Zoom meetings or to their Sports U chats. So we are keeping a watchful eye, but if anyone has any concerns, please feel free to reach out.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Appreciate that very much. Just before Anne starts taking questions, if anybody has one, I just want to bring everybody's attention. The Zoom link was sent on a agenda of the high school council, and I wanted to bring attention to the youth council who raised $750 from the dodgeball and tournament, held alongside the athletic council, and they've donated their causes to the COVID relief, which it's a significant amount of money from a fun evening of dodgeball. And then the Be Well is hosting 3 webinars through a service with Hallways, and those dates are there along with a link for people to sign up to attend those, what's this called, Zoom conferences. And then the high school is still trying to do the book chat on Unselfie along with the middle school. So as we get more information on that with getting everybody coordinated together, we will get back to everybody about the book. Okay, thank you. And then Anne, if anybody has questions, I guess they can raise their hand or unmute.
Yep, so feel free on Zoom if you have a question to raise your hand. You can also put it in the chat. Give people a few minutes to see if anything comes up.
Okay.
Anna Baccalaureate, I believe are the junior workshops happening on Zoom?
Yes, they are. We'll be sending out invitations tomorrow afternoon, and they will happen at the day of the cycle and time that the class would meet. So with the exception of the lunchtime workshop group, which will meet, I believe, at 11 o'clock on Friday. That's day 1.
So that is actually in your schedule on Infinite Campus.
Yes.
Other questions? So let's see. Bold is having the executive function meeting on Monday, April 20th at 4 p.m. I'm guessing that's also a Zoom, and I imagine a link will be sent out. Let's see. A Zoom link was emailed last night. Any other questions? Of course,
And there was one regarding the June SATs you see up there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to expand my chat. Just a sec. Do not see that. So this is probably for Anna Battacola. Any news on June SATs?
The College Board hasn't made a statement yet about the June SATs. No, they have not.
And then the follow-up was any recommendation on prioritizing subject tests if it takes place versus the regular SAT?
As a matter of fact, fewer and fewer colleges over the last few years have been requiring or even recommending subject tests. So if it were a choice between retaking an SAT or ACT and taking subject tests, I think the colleges and I would recommend going for the SAT or ACT, unless it is one of those few schools that strongly recommend the subject test. But for the most part, the subject tests are not going to be reconsidered.
And how about the ACT, Ann? Any word on those administrations yet?
There's still that June administration. The SAT, I noticed from an email I received, is considering on having perhaps a few test administrations in the fall, rather than just the one or two, the August and September, October that they used to have. So that's in the works. Nothing has been stated definitively.
And I think, as Ann will share along with the counselors on Thursday, more and more schools are going test optional, at least for next year's admission cycle. And so I think, that will probably continue, especially if the June exam for the SATs gets canceled, I'm imagining. And, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the list increases every day of schools that are either test optional or have abandoned the testing. Yeah. So
And
we have a full list of those that we will have on one of our slides for the parents and juniors.
And then also, Ann, a question is, and I don't know that any of us knows this yet, is there any information about whether colleges will actually be open in the fall for in-class instruction versus distance learning?
Really no definitive information. There was something that went out today that said Boston University was considering not opening their campus until the spring semester next year, but that's not definitive either. It's just a consideration right now.
And then Roy, there's a question here about the vote for the school budget and trustees.
Yeah, I see that. But before I answer that, there was one earlier about whether the session is the recording going to be available, and it is, right?
Yes. I accidentally didn't start it immediately, but it will be. And sorry. And I will, as we've done in the past few Zooms, it will get put on a YouTube. It'll be on YouTube. I believe they started a high school channel on our YouTube channel, but I will send out the link.
Okay, and regarding the question about the vote on the school budget and the trustees, we haven't gotten much more information other than it's being postponed till sometime in June. Again, it's one of those things that is sitting on the governor's desk. The commissioner has made her recommendation, but the governor has not acted on it yet. So we're just waiting to hear. Again, hopefully more information this week comes out, and as soon as it does, we'll let you know.
And then I see a question about whether colleges will remain test optional after next year. So Ann, maybe you can share what your thoughts are. I know we don't know for sure.
The information that we have includes some schools that say for 2021 only, and others have established a 3-year trial. So it depends from school. It varies from school to school. And it may be that they are moving, those schools that are doing on a trial basis will be moving towards test optional forever. Yeah. So, but it is on a college by college basis. We're trying to update our list as the schools notify us of what their policy will be for the coming year.
So I think if students, particularly juniors, have specific questions, it would be worth asking your counselor directly. And I think this is, I'm sorry if there's background noise, my daughter's having one of her first Zoom dance classes. So she's downstairs doing tap. So she's talking to her friends for the first time in 4 weeks from dance. I was just gonna say that, and then my phone is ringing, that there's probably quite a few things that are gonna come out of this as potential pilots that could, over the long term, change the face of some of these processes, including AP exams, testing for colleges. I mean, I'm sure the College Board is quite worried at this point, given some of the shifts that have been forced as a result of this. Other questions? Feel free to reach out if anything comes up. We really appreciate everyone's support. This has been a significant transition, but has gone really, really smoothly. And we know that it is because of the wonderful community we're a part of. So I just hope that you all continue to be well, stay safe, and that we get to see each other soon. So thank you very, very much. And thanks, Darcy, for making this happen.
Well, thank you. You actually made it happen with the Zoom link. It's way beyond me. But thank you, and thank everybody for attending. It really was informative, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we'll try to keep you updated as we hear anything new.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone.